I purchased something from Ubiquiti. This is the UniFi Dream Router. Now what makes this special is that for $199 you get the UniFi network controller that runs directly on the device, as well as Wi-Fi 6 and PoE built in so that you can add on a access point if you like. So let's go ahead and unbox this and see if it's worth the $199. Now this box just slides right up. There we go. And here it is. Now it says UniFi 6 on here, so that makes it stand out, as well as it has the tiny little screen here over the UniFi Dream machine. Here we have the expandability for the micro SD card slot. We've got the WAN connection and 4 Gigabit Ethernet ports, and ports 3 and 4 have PoE, which is power over Ethernet. Underneath here, we have the manual, or basically QR code to get started, and the power cable, and that's it. Let's take this, and I'm going to plug in the WAN port, and the other end of this Ethernet cable is connected over on my switch behind me, and plug in the power and give it a few minutes to boot. Well, that's interesting. It says there's no internet. Well, it just made the chime. Still says no internet detected. Let me check the switch. Well, the switch did show a link activity, but I don't know. I moved it to another port, so I'll just reboot this and see what it does. One thing that I do need to mention is that this thing is really slow on booting up, since it only has a dual-core processor versus a quad-core processor that you would get in the standard UniFi Dream machine. So I am curious to see how the Wi-Fi 6 performance will be on this once I get it all up and running. So after another reboot, it did go ahead and get this far, and it just says ready for setup and download the network app. So I already have it loaded on my phone. Now I'm going to go into the discovery and see if it finds it. Okay, no device is found. Actually, I forgot a while back when I set one of these up previously, it has its own SSID I believe you need to connect to. So it took quite a while for it to get set up. I could not get it set up using my phone. I went ahead and took my MacBook and just plugged it into the Ethernet and logged into 192.168.1.1 and followed the setup process. Now what's interesting is I pay for a 940 megabit down and 35 megabit up internet connection, and this unit only detected, I think it was like 400 and something megabits down and 30 something up. So I manually went ahead and configured it with the correct speeds and do a speed test using Open Speed Test locally on my network and see what kind of speeds we get through the network. First, we will jump on over to the console here. As you can see, you can only run 2 different applications on here. So right now we have Protect and Network, which are both installed by default, and Network needs to be updated. Looks like that they just have some bug fixes here, and this latest firmware is about a month old. So we'll give it a little bit of time to download and update. Now I'm curious what it shows. Let's see. It shows that there is one device connected, and that is my phone right here. And apparently it only has a 97% Wi-Fi score, so I'm not sure what that is about. This is definitely a lot slower than the UDM when it comes to installing the updates, so just hurry up and wait. And I'm still waiting. So it is finally up to date, so I'm going to switch over on my phone and run a speed test, see what kind of speeds we get. Now this is just with the default settings at 5 gigahertz. I'm not sure what the width is because I didn't make any changes yet. That is 781 megabits down and 331.6 megabits up. So coming into the controller, this is definitely slow to come up. It's just the one device. Let's see what we can get out of this guy. I'm not sure what's up with this dot blinking. I don't know if it's provisioning, what the deal is. It says current task is taking longer than expected. There we go. So let me open back up Open Speed Test. Oh, it dropped. Let me reconnect and let's run it again. kind of cool. It shows you what it's doing on the screen, but I don't know why it's performing so horribly. Let me optimize a couple things and I'll be right back.
A few moments later.
Previously, for whatever reason, it was connecting using 2.4 gigahertz instead of 5 gigahertz. So after just turning the Wi-Fi off and back on again, now I am on the 5 gigahertz band and the speeds are okay. So that got 696.3 megabits downloads and 277.8 megabits uploads. Now, I just enabled all of the firewall rules, packet inspection and stuff, so let's see if that makes any difference to the speeds. So that got 548.2 megabits down and 253.7 megabits up. So definitely a noticeable difference in the performance of it. And I have done a couple of tests and they all seem to be consistent, especially with the upload speeds. The download speeds did vary quite a bit, and I'm not sure if it's because the device is doing stuff in the background or something. It's already updated, so I'm not sure. If you have any ideas, drop a comment down in the comment section below and let me know what you think. So who is this router for? Well, at $199, it is a cool little package with a tiny little screen that is kind of functional, but it's not a touch screen or anything. So if it were me, I'm not sure I would buy this. And the reason why is for an extra $100, you jump from a dual core over to a quad core. And really the only thing that you would gain is if you wanted to run, say, like your phones on here or maybe a couple of cameras, and it does have PoE. I think that this is just a bit underpowered for the prosumers out there. Now, if you just have, let's say, like a 300 megabit internet connection, then you're not going to really have a difference in performance between this and the standard UDM, in which case saving $100 might be a good option. But for a power user such as myself, I'm going to stick with my UDM Pro because it has way more horsepower than what my puny little fake Gigablast internet connection can throw at it. Now, up over here, I'm going to have some other Ubiquiti videos, and if you want to check out some of the competition, I've got some videos right up here from Ingenious.